Hi everybody and welcome to Adobe Live. My name is Flynn. We would like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we meet today, and we'd also like to pay our respects to elders past, present and emerging. By the way, that's an acknowledgement of country if you want to check it out. Johanna has shared I'll point that way. Johanna shared a link in chat where you can check that out, find out what that is all about. But we are here with Jappy Agoncillo. How are you doing, man?
Hey guys, I'm good. A little nervous, so everyone knows. So if I mess up, it's you guys are preempted.
Pre-warned.
But I'm doing good. Pre-warned, like he messed up, but he told us. Don't worry.
He told us at the beginning. So now you can do whatever you want, man. We could just chill out. We can read comics, 90s hip hop, which are some of the things that we have in common. We'll just chat about that for an hour. But yeah, it's great to have you here. We're streaming out from Sydney, Australia at the moment, so it's 12 o'clock. If you're watching on YouTube, jump over to Behance, say hello. Tell us what's going on. Are you into comic books and 90s hip-hop like us? If so, we would like to talk about that. But yeah, Jappy, you are...
Not too much, though, because I would... I would just end up going on a rabbit hole for the whole hour.
That's cool. That's fine. That's fine with me. And you are in Manila, is that right?
Yeah, I'm in Manila right now.
Very good. And it's 10 o'clock there. Is it hot? Is it cold? What's the deal?
It's hot, but it's hot year round, so it's not really much of a question as it's hot, but that's all the time.
Yeah. Nice one, dude. It's actually pretty cold over here. So, really excited to be here with you. Last I got to do something with you was Adobe Max last year. You did an awesome session. Yeah. We actually found that link as well. So Johanna's going to share that. Check it out. If you haven't seen it, it's awesome. So first time I got to meet Jappy, they had like a whole film crew go to Manila, or there were people on the ground there, filmed you. It was like hours and hours of shooting this thing.
Yeah,
20 minutes.
I think 7 hours.
Crazy.
It was mostly just me trying to remember my lines.
Yeah.
And them waiting. So.
But it was awesome. The final product is awesome. Check it out. It's incredible. Really great story, and love hearing all that about you. And so I'm so excited to have you on Adobe Live, man. So. What are we going to do first? So should we, for those that aren't familiar with your work, maybe we could check out some of your work first.
Sure.
Check out your...
Let me get that on my iPad. Let me get the...
Let's do it.
You guys see this?
All right, check it out. Yep, there we go. Everything is working.
So,
cool.
I am an illustrator, muralist, and painter, so I do a bunch of things. I really do just basically anything I feel like I want to be doing. So my work is a mix of a lot of things. I do a lot of murals. So this is one of the murals I painted for a client here in Manila.
Nice.
This is for the Tiger Beer office, which is really fun.
Wow.
This is all spray paint. I do graffiti, sometimes street art, but mostly illustration's my main game. So this is some of my street art stuff. If the owner of this wall is watching, I'm so sorry. I do a lot of illustrations, so this is one of my... I love comics, as we kept saying, and Thor is one of my favorite guys. You can see Thor's axe behind me. I always just have it around, but yeah, I do a lot of illustration, especially comic books. I think that was one of my first loves, comic books, and until now, still something I'm really into. And I also paint a lot, but not all the time. So I painted some sneakers last year, so this is acrylic paint. So I've tried a bunch of things and really just do whatever. I also sometimes do digital murals. So this is actually this one right here behind, not the neon lights, but I designed the backdrop, which was printed on tarp, and then they put it up. So sometimes clients like murals to be digital, saves cost, saves time, but it's still pretty cool to do. So yeah, that's some of the stuff I do. You can check out more of my work later on.
Nice one. Okay, cool. Well, yeah, I'm sure Johanna will share a link there as well. I'm just going to jump back here because I'm going to show a couple of things as well before we get started. Just jumbling a whole bunch of screens. And let's jump back over here. Cool. I've got a lot to deal with today, all right? Lots of different screens and stuff, because we want to talk about this competition that's happening, particularly if you are in the Asia Pacific region. And Jappy has done this one, and this is kind of what kicked off us like wanting to hang out and you know, show a little bit behind the scenes the process of things like this. Yeah, so this is also a digital mural. So there's a campaign happening at the moment called Your World, Your Canvas. You can check out that hashtag over here. There's a competition page. You can win prizes and things like that. Your World, Your Canvas, check it out. There's Jappys there as well. Janelle Bron as well has done this one here, and Ziva has done this one here. So digital murals, which we're going to dive into in a minute. So the whole idea is you can download a canvas, put your artwork onto there and upload it, and you can win stuff, which is cool. So you can just go here, go download now, and you'll get something like that, and then you can have some fun with it. I thought we'd kick off just by having a quick little look at some of these submissions that have come through and some artwork that some people have created. This one by Denny's as well, which is super cool. I just discovered today before the stream. It's kind of put in the Opera House sales, kind of superimposed in here. And I didn't notice until just before we went live, but did this whole like waterfall thing here, which is really cool. So shout out Denny's, that's super cool. And like a totally different style, like look how much fun this is as well. So it doesn't matter what your style is, doesn't matter what you're into, doesn't matter what level you are at, you can check it out. And here's one by Shan as well, which is super cool. And there's Jappy's one there. So, but hey, what we're going to do today is we are going to start with iPad. iPad Pro, is that what you're using, Jappy?
Yeah, I'm using the iPad Pro.
Nice one. So Jappy's using the iPad Pro, and then on Thursday we're going to be jumping in desktop. So we're going to be talking a lot about kind of like going from one to the other there. So that's enough chatter from me. We've got your iPad Pro screen set up here. It's obviously some artwork that's already there, heaps of fun colors. And yeah, do you want to kind of take it away? Like what do you have in store for us today?
Yeah, okay. So yeah, let's get started. So I wanted to teach you guys a little bit about digital murals. So especially now, like you can't really go outside a lot, and that's also impacted me going out doing street art stuff. So you just have to have fun with what you got. And given the spirit of the campaign and the artwork that I did for that, I wanted to kind of go through the process of how exactly do you create art on like an existing image of the real world, like how exactly would you go about it, and how to make it as optimally interesting as possible. So a digital mural. So usually murals are just on blank canvases, just square or whatever. But I was thinking about what you could possibly do with the whole digital thing. Like what, you know, where the possibilities would be if you could just go as crazy as possible. You're not constrained by just the wall, just the canvas. So I designed this so you guys might see how we can play around. And it came off from this. This is actually one of the photos from the campaign that I took. It's one of the ones I like the most because it just looked so, there was a lot of moving parts, just a lot of interesting things going on. There's this big blank canvas there. So what people would probably assume is that you'd go and start on just creating the artwork on this, which is totally fine. You could totally just go straight into using just the canvas as you please.
Yeah, I think that's where I go straight away. I'd be like, oh, first thing I need to do is make a clipping mask and like cut that out so that everything goes in there. Yeah. Because,
you know, that's completely fine. Many people submitted that and that's really great. But I was thinking, well, why not go a little crazier with it? Just like the one I did, it was a wall, and it was just this big giant wall somewhere here in Manila. I was thinking, okay, I'll just make a design on it. What if I made it something more 3D, more surreal, more little interesting, or more interesting? So I thought, let's play around with the elements. Get that, and hold on, and this was the end result. So I'm going to show you guys exactly how this came about. And yeah, do we get started?
Cool. Yeah, let's do it. Okay, by the way, just for anyone new, sorry, I'm like, yeah, get to it. And then I start saying stuff. Sorry, dude.
No, it's fine.
But yeah, if you guys have questions as we're going along, feel free to ask away in chat. If you've just joined us, the chat we're using today is at behance.net/live. So yeah, don't be shy.
Okay, so the concept of this was basically, what can I do with the truck? What can I do? The blank canvas is the truck. It's the one that is popping out the most. It's the one that says "Paint me." Let's do this. I was thinking, what can I do with the truck? And so I thought of, what if I have this character that people on my Instagram know. It's just a tiger that really likes to eat noodles. He's basically me. He's living life vicariously through me. I'm living life vicariously through it.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, let's just use the character. Let's have some fun with it. And just like, what if he was riding the truck on top? Maybe. What if he was inside the truck, and that would be like a giant noodle truck that he kind of just climbed into and is riding around Hong Kong in. Nice. So that was the idea. So let me get to the sketch. Now, to save time, I pre-drew everything, so we're just gonna go over everything again. Sorry, everyone, because doing it live would be very difficult. Let me just hide a bunch of these layers that I don't have organized. Sorry. You guys should definitely organize your layers, though.
do as I say, not as I do, huh?
Don't be like me. Organize your layers. So this is the first sketch. So it's really rough, as you can see. I don't even have much of the shoe part fleshed out. But let's go through it real quick. I always pick like a brush, especially on iPad. The brushes are a little limited, but they still have enough that you would need. You can't put in custom brushes yet, but I know they're working on it. That's why we're going to desktop next time to show you the customs. So I usually just go with like the natural. Oh no, not that one. Whereas animator pencil. So just pencils always first. I'm just gonna go. New layer on top. And yeah, I'm gonna trace over this, but really just keep everything really loose, because you want to be able to play around with it later, and you'll see later how much more refined it gets as we go.
Cool.
So yeah, just really loose with the sketch and everything.
And the original sketch behind it, was that done digitally or on paper? Like, how did you do the original quick sketch?
It does start on paper. I do. I'm one of those guys that has to have it tactile.
Yeah. So
when I make to-do lists, I can't do it on my phone. If I draw something, it has to start in pencil. I don't know if I have that here.
Nice. What about you guys? What about you guys, chat? So it's quite interesting to me. Like, you kind of got the workflow is like notepad, like paper, iPad, and then desktop, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah, because I think with paper, you feel a little more like you're not wasting anything. Like, it's just scratch paper and whatever. So I have here actually the sketches. If you can see, that was just the truck.
Oh yeah, let me make that bigger. Okay, cool. Yeah, we got it.
It's just the truck and the tiger sitting in it. I don't know if you center it. There you go. Nice. There's a bunch of ideas also, that like the tiger inside the truck, like he was an escape person, like crazy person, or the tiger hiding from a bigger character over here. But I was thinking it's a little too much if I made it's wasteful of the space if I just keep him inside the truck.
Right.
And I think doing two characters would have been too much if we're not focused on one. So I just decided, okay, he's riding the truck. He snuck into a noodle truck and just went crazy. So
nice.
So yeah, I'm just drawing the.
As you're drawing that, I'm just going to check in with chat. So Festus was asking, can these murals be animated for stationary things like wall? Like, I guess if you're asking in terms of the competition, everything that's happening, it could totally be animated. I think Photoshop might be a restriction, but you can animate in Photoshop. So you could do a GIF or something like that. You could do like a short GIF, a looping GIF or something like that. So that's super cool. Fran says, hi Jappy, good morning. Always been a fan of you and your works. Keep on doing what you do. You are amazing.
Oh, thanks. Oh man. Okay. I love hearing that kind of stuff because it, when you do this as your job, you don't really get to interact with people a lot because it's not one of those very public jobs. You're really just drawing in your studio most of the time.
Right.
So when people show up to say hi or just publicly say like, I'm a fan. Like it always makes you feel a little good.
Well, Jappy, I'm a fan of you as well, and so is Reynolds in chat.
Oh,
Reynolds
thanks,
in
bud.
chat says super fan here too. So there you go.
Oh man, okay. I'm gonna start getting too shy now. So yeah. Some of the times the sketch you're gonna be like, I don't know how exactly to do this. Like this, when I was drawing this, the shoes, I'm not very good with feet, so you know, I think it's always just a good idea to. Okay, maybe it's not that good of an idea. I was gonna say pretend like you know, and then do the research later. That sounds pretty good. Then you can get references later. But if you're gonna do sketching, just go crazy. People always get intimidated by sketching, and I also do a lot. Because you're scared to mess up, you're scared to waste time. But really, this is the time to really explore. So
Nice. Are you a big sneaker fan? I might know the answer to
a little bit. I'm not a big sneaker owner because it's a very pricey hobby, but I'm a pretty big sneaker fan.
that. Nice.
This is a tip, actually. I wanted to share this with you guys. So let me just get this head in really quick. When drawing something digitally like this, where his body is kind of twisted around and it's behind something, it really helps to draw the whole body. Show you, because this is something I think maybe it's just me being particular about it, but anatomy really makes a big difference when you're drawing, and even if some parts of the anatomy aren't seen, the way that it comes together, people will notice. So I always try to get the anatomy right, even if it's a cartoon like this. So when I sketch this out, I would draw the entire torso that was inside the truck, just to make sure the anatomy was proper. And you guys could do this, you guys don't have to, but I was thinking it might help when drawing anatomy to just draw behind what's not seen, so everything comes out a little clean.
Yeah, that's a good tip. It'll probably help you get your proportions right.
Yeah, because even if people won't be able to see the inside of the truck, if they don't see this, they'll see the ones on top. But they'll kind of know, like the legs don't come in the right way, or the arm doesn't foreshorten the right way. So it's good to draw through everything. So yeah, let me get this.
That's cool.
Down,
that's a good tip.
Yeah, I was always thinking, because I was really into comic books, right? So I started off drawing a lot of anatomy, just like muscular men and women being strong and stuff. So I think I was really into anatomy when I was younger, and then I learned that in school, and then I just made sure that my anatomy always comes up straight.
That's cool.
So yeah, that's basically the main sketch. There's nothing really that special about it, but after this, I always do like 2 sketches. So this one I actually named it loose sketch, and then I go into this one, which is, I call it less loose sketch or hard sketch. That's what I named it. So it's basically you go over again, but now you're planning out the lines that you want to be doing. So
Right.
instead of it just being loose, you finally know this is definitely a line I want to follow. So we're just gonna go over this again, just really quick. Opacity.
That's cool. Well, I'm going to ask you my first comic book question. So why is Thor your favorite comic book character?
The Thor's not my favorite, actually. People always assume that he's my favorite.
Yeah.
Especially on social media, because well, they say I do my beard like Thor, and I remind people. I don't know if this is true. People might think I'm crazy, but I remind people of Thor from Thor Ragnarok, when he was
Right.
kind of a dude, like a bro.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean.
So yeah, I draw him a lot that way, and people really associate that with me. I like Thor because I think I love the lightning and thunder power thing. That was always my favorite. My favorite Pokemon are all electric.
Electric types.
I really loved AC/DC when I was younger, and AC/DC, their logo is like a thunderbolt. So it's really just how much I like thunder.
Nice.
But my favorite is actually Green Lantern, which is
really
doesn't make sense sometimes. Yeah, because I don't draw him a lot because he hasn't been popular in a while.
Mm. Yeah, they tried to do that movie, wasn't quite
of that
there.
movie. Yeah, it's funny because Taika Waititi was part of both movies. And
yeah,
they're both my favorite superheroes. But Green Lantern is my favorite because of the whole willpower thing. I thought it was a really powerful message, especially when I was a kid. So it's still something I believe in today.
That's cool. Checking in with chat as you're doing the lines there. Fran said, and also your love for Thunders. So, yep, that's exactly right. And Reynolds says, I'm guessing his fave is SpiderMan. So Festus was talking about Captain America as well. Yeah. So there you go.
SpiderMan. Well, I do draw a lot of SpiderMan because one, very popular character.
Yeah.
He also has a very kind of adaptable costume. I love doing superhero costumes. And the way Spider-Man is, he's friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. He hangs out in New York. It's so easy to kind of make him relatable. Like put some sneakers on him. I have a drawing like that. You put some sneakers on him. He's holding a pizza because he's a New Yorker. So
makes sense. You
it's
lived
really
in New York.
To kind of make that.
You lived in New York for a while. Is that right?
I spent. I used to spend about a month or 2 months a year over there.
Right.
I think last time was 2019. I was supposed to come back last year, but so I went to New York for school. I was a an illustration resident at SVA for 2 months.
Wow, fantastic school.
And then after that, it was my dream school, and I thought, okay, I got into the residency program. I'm definitely going. And then I just stayed because I have a bunch of friends over there from some of my trips. So I would just make art. Like I would just hang out, and then we would look for murals to do, walls that we could paint, and it was just a lot of fun. I miss the place.
Yeah, it's a beautiful city. So I have a question from pretty jealous that you're just kind of hanging out in New York, like looking for walls to paint, hanging out with creatives. It sounds like the dream.
Well, it is a little costly, but I save up for those trips for sure. Like out of the year of work, because I basically work year round. I don't stop, and that's something my family always tells me to do, which is to chill out. So I tell them, okay, I'll work in New York, but like not really. So it's really what I spend all my money on. Nice. Those trips.
I like it. So let's have a question from chat from a little bit earlier from Johanna. We were chatting about anatomy before, so like drawing anatomy, starting drawing from the Marvel characters, and we were also talking about kind of getting these dimensions right. Even if the final version isn't going to show everything, it's good to get those bits of anatomy right. So the question from Johanna was, how has your approach to anatomy changed throughout the years? Do you prefer it to be more stylized now?
That's interesting. I think at first, I was really strict about it. Like the hand's got to be a certain way, or the face has to be as realistic as possible. But that's because I was drawing, like my favorite comic book artists are those types of guys, like Jim Lee and Alex Ross, who are more on the realistic side. But as I got more into street art and more alternative forms of art, like toys and stickers, I think I kind of let loose with the anatomy a bit. So just like this tiger, obviously it's not like human anatomy because one is a tiger, but the arms aren't supposed to be like that. The hands aren't that big. But I always thought, as long as you get it looks generally right, like it looks like it would make sense, because that's what anatomy basically is. Like when you're drawing anatomy, it doesn't have to look picture perfect, but it has to feel like and look like it makes sense. The way an arm would twist, or the way the body would foreshorten if they're running at you, it never has to look correct. It just has to look like it makes sense. So that's just what I strive for now. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect, but if it makes sense, it makes sense. Like this hand, for example, if I erase this finger behind it, looks like he only has two fingers. It doesn't look 3D.
Yeah.
But if I draw like this knuckle behind it, if it looks like, okay, there's something behind it, it's definitely the other hand, and so the hand looks a little more like there's depth to it. So that's something I just strive for. It doesn't need to be perfect; just needs to make sense.
Oh man, great question, great answer. I got another question, if that's right, and just tell me if we're coming at you too hard here. No way. Rana was asking, do you still sell stickers or artworks?
I used to a lot. So I used to do a lot of art fairs and stuff here in Manila, and it's just pandemic has been really tough, especially juggling projects, because I would have to take on different kinds of projects, so I wouldn't have a lot of time for making stickers, making merch. I would sell. I'm actually planning on making more and looking for a good platform to sell, especially now I got a little bit more of an international audience.
Right.
So I was thinking, okay, I need to find a better place to sell this that isn't just here in Manila, so I could really reach others.
Right.
So yeah, I am working on it. If you're wondering, but it's gonna take some time, but it'll happen.
So like an online marketplace of some kind. You're like checking them out and weighing up which one might.
An online shop for sure. It's just sometimes I don't have the time to maintain it. That's also my problem. Like if I put it on an online platform, like let's say Redbubble or Society6, will I have the time to maintain it? To keep adding artwork or to update stuff? Maybe not. So we'll see.
It's like another beast like Instagram to kind of keep feeding.
Yeah, because exactly, social media, if you're running your career like a business, you don't have to be on social media all the time. But I think it's essential for running a business. And so that's how I like to approach my career. Like it's a business. So social media has to be a part of the equation, and it's very tiring to take care of all the time.
Yep, totally.
Okay, so this would be the main, like, harder sketch. So all the lines that I think I'll be following through on, I drew, and all the shading and stuff. But again, just keep everything loose, not the final color, not the final lines yet. And you just have to be a little more solid, but you can still change it up. The best thing about digital art, everyone, especially like now with the technology, is you can change things at any time. Don't ever feel like, oh, I have to draw this again. Just think, okay, I have to fix this. It's simple. Get the erase tool, clip it out, draw it again. It doesn't have to be as much of a chore as you think it is. Because sometimes when I'm painting murals on the outside and I make a mistake, I'm thinking in my head, I gotta paint over it, wait for the paint to dry, add like 7 more layers. It takes like another 2 hours just for that one spot.
Yeah.
But if you're doing it digitally, it's really just erase tool, just get on it and then draw it again. So yeah, people sometimes can be afraid to make mistakes because they get like, I guess it's tiring or cumbersome. But try to think of it as, it's an opportunity to fix things.
Nice. I like that perspective. There's no Command Z in real life, unfortunately. So we're also chatting about, I was really excited to see this. I feel like we have a lot in common. You mentioned in your social media post talking about this, that pineapples do belong on pizza, and I'm with you. So it's 100% of Adobe Live is with you. Let us know in chat, pineapples on pizza, do they belong? They definitely
belong.
do.
I mean, the argument is that it belongs on certain kinds of pizza. People are generalizing that pineapples on pizza are a mistake, but it's just the flavors of it make sense to some people, and you don't have to discriminate, man. Like pineapples should be on pizza. I don't get it. If you don't like it, don't eat it. You're gonna get
pick them off and give them to me.
I grow on it. Yeah, actually, that's what my family does. Like literally, they don't like. I'm the only one who likes pineapples on pizza in my family. When I order it, it's either they don't get any pizza or they give me some. They get some from me and then just pick it off.
Yeah.
And give it all to me. Okay, so for this part of it, I'm going to be drawing the final, not the final lines, but I guess the main line work. Let me get this opacity up. Okay, so this is the line work I already was able to do. So it just draws upon the lines I already put up, the hard sketch. And again, still a little loose. I didn't follow every line, as you can see, because those are lines I think would serve better without line work. I used to have hard lines on everything, but I thought that an artwork looks more stylized and a lot more interesting if some parts weren't outlined. Like if the shape wasn't outlined, it doesn't feel too harsh. It doesn't feel too hard. So
yeah, that's cool. That's something I've noticed like some artists doing, and more recently. Like I know it's been that sort of thing has been around for a long time, but I've noticed it myself when playing around. And I like just want to draw everything 100%, want every shape to close or want every line to be there. But then I look at other people's artwork and people that come on Adobe Live, such as yourself, and they're not finishing the lines, and it really does add like a nice softness to it and makes like user like fill in the gaps themselves.
Just a little more playful for me anyway. That's what I think, and just also it allows you to kind of try to imagine the lines being there. So it's more interesting to look at. I just tried it on myself this year, actually. So a lot of my artworks this year have that. What am I? Right here. Need to get the ink color. So I got the eyedropper tool, and there we go. It's gonna sound. Yeah, I have. iPad actually has keyboard shortcuts, so I'm actually using keyboard to select stuff. If you guys are interested in using iPad Photoshop, they have keyboard shortcuts, so I'm actually just doing both.
Nice. So is that just
and it's the same keys.
There you go.
Yeah, it's the Bluetooth keyboard, Logitech.
Yeah. Nice.
It's the same key shortcuts as the desktop, actually, so pretty good. I'm losing track of my layers. There we are. Okay. Sorry if I'm tracing over everything, guys. I'm just trying to save time.
No, that's the Adobe Live way. We're only here for an hour. In fact, we're over halfway already. So, just letting you know.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, about 22 minutes left to be exact.
I think I can go quicker. So I picked out a rough inker brush because that's one of the brushes I use mostly. A lot of my work has a textured feel, and I really like that because it's more of the old school comic book feel when they used to ink comics with actual ink brushes with ink pens with the metal tips and everything. So I always like that aesthetic.
Nice.
Let me start. Okay, there we go. So when you're inking an artwork, I mean, just like anything, try to be a little more deliberate with the lines you're making because those are the things people are going to see. Like this, sometimes I'm going to go with the sketch, sometimes I'm not. Like here I thought, okay, it's the in between his legs and it's a little bit in the back, so it should have more of a shadow. That's what I'm doing here.
And I noticed that you've zoomed in a lot more at this point. So when you were sketching, you were zooming in a couple of times, but it was mostly like pretty, like wide out kind of view. Like you really zoomed out on the artwork. But at this point, is it because you want to be a little bit more precise? You're basically doing like final lines. You want it to be as close to perfect as possible.
Oh yeah, it's about precision. So I really go slowly with the line work, and yeah, zooming in really helps. So you can see your lines and you know exactly how you're doing. We could try doing it zoomed out. Oh, yeah. No, I'm going back.
Back in.
I'm going back in. I can't.
I got some more questions if you're up for them while you're doing the line work. What do you think?
Yeah, of course.
All right.
Let's go.
Okay. Nicola was asking back to superheroes. I love that I brought this up. What's your favorite villain, Marvel or DC?
Oh, Okay, let's close this app right now. This is gonna take a while. Uh, that's really interesting, and I haven't really thought of it so much. Wow, I think, wow, a great question. First thing that comes to my mind is Two-Face from Batman. Um, Especially the versions that sprang up recently. Well, not super recent, but the Long Halloween, if you guys follow comic books, the Long Halloween version and the Dark Knight version. Because instead of it just being a guy whose whole gimmick is I have two faces and I flip a coin and we'll see what happens, which is really cheesy. But of course, it was the '60s, different era. The Two-Face that sprang up in recent comics where everything's a little more dark and gritty is a really conflicted guy, and he's lost everything. In the Dark Knight, he's lost everything, and he feels like the only true justice in the world is chaos, is randomness. That's why he flips a coin, because that's the only way things will be fair. And in the Long Halloween, again, he's lost. Spoiler alert. He lost his wife, or he lost his face, and so he goes a little crazy, thinking that only through chaos, only through this 50-50 chance thing is true justice served, because he is a lawyer, so he still believes in that, but in a very twisted way. And I think the best villains really are the ones that have a point. People love Killmonger from Black Panther because he did have a point. People love Vulture from Spider-Man Homecoming because he had a point. Or Thanos. People were really like, Thanos has a point. But they're very skewed.
Yeah.
They're like, you have a point, but this is not the way to go about it, Thanos. You can't snap half the universe away to solve everything. So that would be my favorite villain right now. So I do have a bunch more, but I just can't remember.
I love it. What a great question that we're getting deep. I love it.
You put me on the spot.
super cool. Yeah, I think Thanos is great in the comics as well. He kind of always has been. Has some particularly evil streaks. I think they did a great job in the movie, to be honest.
In the movie, I think they expanded on his. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's it. I want to hear from you.
Okay. I was gonna say they expanded more on his motives, because in the comics it was just about trying to impress death. Yeah. He was in love with the embodiment of death. But in the movie, it's really more about I lost everything because no one listened to me about how population and resources and everything would ruin the universe. So I'm taking it into my own hands and doing this crazy evil thing. So it's really more about saving the universe, but in a very twisted way, instead of just trying to impress someone.
Impress someone, yeah, that's very true. That's basically
what he's doing.
I got another question from Manila. I got another question from Richard. Jappy, do you ever include life in Manila in your artwork?
Life in Manila. Sometimes I have had artworks that were depictions of little pieces of Manila, but I feel like that space is very full. There's a lot of artists who do great work there, and so while I do have work that has that in there, I do have work of Manila street food, which everyone loves. If you haven't, you should try it. Scenes of Manila life, I have a lot of that. Scenes of an ideal Manila, but I do know that other people can really depict it way better than I do. So I don't try to make it as much as possible. Only when I really feel like I need to.
Cool. Okay. I'm just going to check in with chat as well. So Festus, in the comics, Loki was far more evil and cheeky when he battled the Fantastic Four. He was unbalanced, but he did evil for fun too. True. Nicholas saying, love these versions. Love Mysterio. Dr. Doom too was in there, chat. Fran's favorite is probably Joker, since Batman is their favorite DC superhero.
Oh yeah,
Nice. Yeah, you got to have that like good villain to balance the superhero, right? Otherwise, they're just people
I mean,
flying or running around in their underwear.
definitely. In I think the Killing Joke, which is a Batman comic, if you guys are familiar, it makes the point that Batman would be nothing without the Joker,
Mm.
and so they would have to exist side by side together forever until one of them basically ends the other. And so it's a really popular comic because of that notion that the Joker would have nothing if not for Batman to
Mm.
to kind of mess around with, and the Batman wouldn't be anyone without having the Joker to catch.
Yeah.
So yeah, a good villain, a good hero is only as good as the villains that they have.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, I think wow, time's really moving quick. Let me get through this, and then we're gonna get the coloring, which is the fun part.
Cool.
So yeah. Anyway, where were we? I was just doing the line work, so it's a little more solid, but it should end up looking
Cool.
like this. Where is it? So yeah, again, I didn't follow most of the lines. I just tried to do something more playful, and we're gonna go to coloring, which looks like this.
Wow.
I'm gonna try color as fast as possible, and then we're gonna go back to how it looks in the end. So yeah, let's get coloring.
Nice one.
Okay. Oh, also a good tip is to have a color palette ready at all times. So I have this one ready right here. I mean, you can just select one, use the eyedropper tool, and just draw a box and fill it in. This way you can go straight into it. It doesn't have a swatch feature yet. I know it's coming, so that's pretty exciting. So for now, this is what I do. Yeah, it's cool. So if you need to switch over, just get the eyedropper tool, press I on your keyboard, select, and then go back to brush, and just switch around.
Cool.
Oh.
And where do you, I'm going to ask this question before chat does. Where do you get your colors from? Because you have like really like popping colors. So I'm just going to ask the question, save everyone typing it.
I do have, I have a bunch of like preset color palettes in my head. Like this is the colors I've always been using. But yeah, it's also just from looking at a lot of inspirational artworks online, interesting color combinations. I also follow a bunch of color palette Instagrams that just shoot out great palettes, and then I would change it the way I want. Like, oh, this one's great, but I think a green would be nice to put in there, or a red. So yeah, it's about this looking at art that you like and finding colors that you like from that, and then mixing in your own thing. Because you can't create new colors. You can't pop that out of your head. That doesn't work that way. You have to find colors from other things. So I think that's completely fair, as long as you put your own spin.
Cool. I like it.
Okay. Yeah, this red. Okay. So when I'm coloring, it's usually somewhat just like inking, because some of the lines aren't there. So I get really a little bit of a slower process, but it's still fun.
And you do you color like each different color on a different layer when you're using Photoshop on the iPad, or would you do each shape on a different layer? How do you organize that?
On both iPad and desktop. So I would draw each color or each layer on a different layer, because my colors are very layered also. So on this original one, just look at all these layers of color. Like the pants are a different layer, the chopsticks are a different color, a different layer. The orange of the tiger is different from the shading of the orange. And I just do that to keep organized. But for the purposes of the live, I'm just going to keep coloring on this. But make sure to switch up to different layers when you can. Again,
nice.
Don't listen to me for this one. So, hide this.
cool. Just checking with some of the comments in chat. JB says, what would your boxing nickname be? Jappy Thunder.
Oh, hey, JB.
JB in the house.
I always thought of that. Boxing nickname.
Thriller from Manila. That was taken.
I think that's taken.
Yeah.
That's taken.
That's taken.
I have no idea. Actually, I've always thought of it because I'm really into boxing, so that's kind of the sport. Like I like to play. We don't play, but it's a sport I like, and I've always thought about a cool ring nickname, but I just can't think of anything that goes well with Jappy. Because Jappy's such a fun little name.
Here in the ring is Happy Jappy.
I would. No one would cheer for that. Like, oh, okay, we know who's gonna win this fight. Not that guy.
Back to the practical kind of question. Peter's asking, are you drawing with a digital pen or using a mouse? So using an iPad Pro, and I'm assuming
using an iPad Pro.
Apple Pencil? Yep.
And yeah, the Apple Pencil.
Cool.
So yeah, it's one of the better investments. And I'm not trying to shoot Apple products at you guys. I'm actually not much of an Apple user myself. But it is one of the better investments for any professional creative is to get a good tablet and a good drawing application.
Stylus?
So yeah, a good pen and a good tablet is a great. It really level up your work, because I used to just use mouse everything when I was starting out. Just draw everything with ink, scan it, play around with the levels, and then go in Photoshop and color it with a mouse. And it was an interesting time in my career.
I assume that would have been like a much longer process, right? Or like
definitely.
Maybe
and
a little
it's
bit
not
less
as clean because you just can't.
Yeah.
You can't control the mouse as much as intuitively as you would a pen. So if anyone out there, you guys are thinking about it and you're thinking, will it be worth it or not? I definitely say it is. But you should do your research into what would work better for you. Like an iPad, the drawing, it has a screen, of course, and you can draw directly onto it with Adobe Photoshop on it, Fresco, there's Procreate, so many. But you can also get like a Wacom tablet, which is just the drawing tablet that connects to your laptop, and you can draw on there. So you can choose from whichever you think suits you best.
Nice.
But it's definitely a great investment.
Very cool. And I think there was a question that I may have missed, but how many tattoos do you have? And which one is your favorite?
Oh, why do people ask that one? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tattoos right now.
Yeah.
I say right now because I'm always trying to get new ones. I have 6, and my favorite is this. This is a bee. Where is it? There. It's a bee with butterfly wings. It's super corny, but some tattoos have to be corny in order for it to be meaningful. And I think it's half Muhammad Ali, who had that famous line, "So like a butterfly, sting like a bee," but it also embodies hard work, because I believe that bees are the most hardworking creatures in existence. They do it without complaint. They do it not even for themselves, but for their community, right?
Yeah.
They work hard for the queen, for the colony, and for the hive. That's really inspiring. It's really interesting that they're working hard not just for themselves, for their survival, but for everyone else's. Without complaint, with no problems, they would work. So I thought, that's something very inspiring to me. So
I like it.
And I also have Thor's axe. Right.
See,
here.
this is why
That's
people think. Yeah, exactly. You're like, yeah, I don't know if Thor's my favorite, but then like a lot of your artwork has Thor. You've got like a Thor axe behind you.
Tattoo.
You've got a tattoo.
Well, spoiler, I'm getting a Green Lantern tattoo at some point.
Okay.
But they shut down tattoo parlors recently because of COVID. But once it gets back up, I'll be getting that.
Nice.
But I like the Thor tattoo. I like the hammer because, again, cheesy. When Thor Ragnarok, the hammer is destroyed. Spoiler alert, I guess. The hammer is destroyed, and Thor feels useless. He feels worthless without it. And in the end, Odin tells him that you're not the god of hammers, you're the god of thunder.
Mm.
The hammer doesn't define you; it's just your weapon. And so when he got the axe in Infinity War, just realizing how nerdy I sound.
No, I'm with you, man.
When he got the axe in Infinity War, he, you know, it really was like an empowering moment. Like, this is a weapon to channel my power. It's not what gives me power.
Mm.
So again, it's like a nice reminder that your self-worth, your ability, your potential is not in, it's not in this stylus, it's not in this pen, it's not in any of the stuff that I use. It's in me. And so yeah, that's something I like to remind myself.
Oh, that's nice. That's lovely. I'm glad we brought that up. Great question.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
People love asking about my tattoos. I think because I have some off, like different tattoos. They're not the usual stuff. Because people always like have that. They have roses, or they have flowers. They have what else? Clocks, snakes, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I like to get some pretty nerdy ones because it's. I believe tattoos should be the things that you believe in so much that you would endure the pain to get it on you. Like it's just a belief system, you know. And if you don't have any, or if you do have some of the ones I mentioned, it's not a problem. It's what you like, and that's what tattoos are all about. Whatever you want.
That's cool. So we're a couple of minutes away from running out of time today.
Oh
so
no!
we got about 3 minutes left actually.
It's way quicker than I thought. Okay, let me get through this real quick. Let me explain some of the stuff.
Okay, cool.
So actually, basically, the tiger is mostly fully colored except for the greens, the greens and the yellows. But it really is. Let me get that full one out here. Oh, I'm losing it. There we go. So this would be looking like when it's fully colored. Let me hide the sketch layer. And as you can see, there are actually other shapes in the back there. Those are from, this is the full image. Because I wanted to explain some of the stuff about how to use the space optimally, like the best way to use the space as possible. So let me go through that really quick. Again, when I drew the piece, it was the tiger inside, but you wanted to really make use of the space properly. So you look for layers and insert elements in there. I like just crazy shapes and stuff, which I guess comes from comic books as well. So like here behind this building, as you can see, there would be a shape coming out of it. And then behind this second building next to it, another shape's coming out of it. And it really builds kind of the layered look of the artwork and how dense the city could be, how alive it could be. It doesn't have to be just the tiger. I mean, it could be, and it really highlights the oddness, the surrealness of a tiger riding a truck through Hong Kong. But also, you could do something like this, and it feels more like there's layers to it. You feel like there's more life to the rest of Hong Kong, of the rest of the scene. So yeah,
totally. It looks like there's like stuff happening around the corner. Like there's probably other characters and other interesting things happening if you were like in this world. Yeah, like playing around with the world really is the point of doing a digital mural. Like you have the freedom to play around with the world. It doesn't have to be just the white truck. It could be everything else, which is really the point. So yeah, I think next week when we jump into desktop, I'll show you guys more of these textures. Cool. Because I don't have that on iPad. The brushes are on desktop, so I'll show you guys how to texture your work and how texturing can add dimension to a piece. And I'll show you guys how to get these really precise cuts for the layers. Oh, there's a little bit of a mess there, but yeah, I'll show you guys how to play around with the dimensions of the world and how to make it look more deep. That's cool. Layered. So, hey, Jappy, we're actually out of time, so in risk of being cut off, perfect. That was perfect timing. Tiger looks awesome. Thanks for nerding out with me. Thank you, chat, for the great questions and everything, and indulging us on our journey through the Marvel and DC cinematic universes. This is super cool. It's on Thursday. I always do it as well, say next week, but it's on Thursday that we're going to be jumping into the desktop. Again, thank you, Jappy, for your time. Thanks for hanging out with us, man.
Problem. This is really fun. See you guys real soon.
See you soon. See you, everyone. Bye.